to go to? Why don't you go where fashion sits? Putting on the Ritz. Different types who wear a day coat, pants with stripes and cutaway coat, perfect fits. Putting on the Ritz. Dressed up like.
All right, and let's welcome to the studio officially now Rose Szwed from Step On Bus Tours. How are you today, Rose?
Oh, well, thank you very much, Paul.
Haven't seen you in about 20 seconds.
I know. And today we have a fun topic that we're going to explore, don't we?
We do. You know, I want to talk about your upcoming trips, of course, and maybe a past trip or two if you want to add anything to it. But maybe give us a sample or an example of what you go through, what your office goes through when you book a trip. Because most people don't know. They figure, I'll just call Rose, she'll take care of it, which you do, and they just have to drive and get on a bus, and that's it. From the moment you say, let's go to, I don't know, pick a place, like that casino out in Battle Creek, what do you have to do?
That's an easy piece.
Yeah, we'll start easy.
So we'll start with that. So first of all, I have to know how many people want to go. I have to make sure that the casino is aware that we're coming in order for all my passengers to get points. Now, if I don't have the designated numbers, then we don't go.
Okay.
But let's choose another. Let's say we're doing an Arts, Amish, and Adventure trip,
All right.
which we're doing in July as an overnight. So we're going to spend half the trip in northern Indiana exploring the Amish community and half the trip in southwestern Michigan exploring the old order Amish. Big difference between the two. They're not the same sect at all. So I always go to the locations first, regardless of where they are, even if they're in China or South Africa.
Okay.
And I check out, I scope everything out. What do they want to do? What do they want to see? For Amish people want to see a closed community. They want to go into their homes. They want to know how they quilt. That's a big thing. How they can food, how they cook, how they stay off the grid.
All right, so if you've never been to a place before yourself, you personally go before you book the trip?
Yes, I will never go to a place cold.
Okay, that way you know it's on the up and up and how things are going to go ahead of time.
And something very important to my trips that you might laugh at, but it's where are the potties? Where are the rest areas? Because when I have a bus of 50 people, they don't all want to use the restroom in the bus. So we have to stop every so many hours so that they can get out, stretch their legs, and go to clean restrooms. We never stop at a gas station. We never stop at a place that just has one or two toilets. We stop at MDOT, Michigan Department of Transportation rest areas because they're always clean.
Yeah, they keep up on those. What I haven't told you before is when I was a teacher, I worked as a band director, and I used to do these trips myself, but I did them by myself, with no training, no experience. I just started making calls, and so I know a little bit about what goes into it. Now, eventually I got a little smarter and got an actual travel company involved, and I told them what I wanted, and then they did all the legwork. But let's say let's go back to your China trip now. That's not just, China trip's on the map, we're leaving this date, and let's go. You're going to go there and check it out, but you have to do the airline's bus to get to the airport?
I have to know everything. Where I am parking the car is very important, and how long does it take? Because it's a privilege being me. Sorry to bother from Harry Potter, but and that's what Professor Dumbledore said. It's a privilege being me. I always give people the best places to park. So there I use Valet Connections, which is not next to the airport. It's about 3 or 4 miles away, but they have the best parking rates, and they're always timely. They always show up. And then I have to decide, how long is the trip? Where are people going to sit? Who wants first class? Who might, get air sickness? And then I recommend them to, various physicians or an acupuncturist or suggest over-the-counter medications. And then I get to China, and then the bus takes off, and I am with the China tour directors, and I'll say, okay, this will work. This particular location will work, but let's not do A, B, and C. Let's do X, Y, and Z instead.
Okay.
And that's how I check it out.
Now, even obviously going to China, everybody on the tour is going to need a passport. Do you help them with that, or you just tell them how to get it?
Oh no, I help them get their passport, and the passport card doesn't work for traveling overseas.
Right.
And then I also help them with their visas. Getting a visa to go to China is not easy. That's a whole other can of worms in itself. So I take away all of the red tape so that it's easy peasy for them, and all they have to do is wait for their passport to be returned in the mail. They get their e-travel ticket, because we don't use airline tickets anymore. and everything is, their itinerary is all written out for them. They have very few questions.
Okay. The I guess I'm still stuck on this China thing because there's so much that goes into it. Now, do you track your time and your office employees' time by hours? Like how many hours actually goes into a China trip, or days?
No, we
Okay.
track it by 15 minutes.
Okay. Oh, wow.
We track
Even
every
more specific.
15 minutes,
Okay.
yeah, so we can see exactly how much time goes into this, because my CPA said I need to know how much time you're spending on everything.
Okay.
And that's what we do now. We don't like doing that,
Yeah. it's a
but
pain,
we do it because we love him.
How many hours, or well, if you can do it hours, would it take you or your office to put together a trip to China? It's
Oh,
gotta be
it was an enormous number
Yeah, I'll
of
bet.
hours, because it's not just putting the trip together. I go to a lot of travel shows and travel conferences, and I wasn't thrilled when I first heard about the China trip, but I was away at a travel conference.
Okay.
And then the second travel conference I went to had the same man. So I have to take those hours into account, you know, how long it took to go to a travel conference, and then the number of phone calls, and then meeting with the individual at Joe Muir's seafood restaurant downtown.
Well, the things you have to go through to book
Yeah,
these trips.
I know, it's crazy ridiculous, but someone's got to do it.
That's right. Now, when I first started doing the trips, I was basically the only person in the area doing trips for middle school kids.
Mhm.
People thought I was half nuts for even thinking about it. Like high school, maybe college, of course, but middle school, you got to be crazy. And so what I did is I booked every single blasted minute with some kind of an activity. My goal was to have the kids walking to the bed at night and falling asleep before they hit the bed. That's how tired I wanted them to be. And then at some point, this travel agent called me and said he lived in the area, but his tour company was elsewhere. And would I like to have him do all the work? I thought, well, yeah, because I'm spending a lot of time on this, and I don't get paid for that. I was a teacher, not a travel agent. And so he came back with this itinerary that had about half the day with activities and half the day with free time. It's time at the pool, time to do that. I said, no, I want every single second booked. And he goes, no, kids can't handle that. They'll be too tired. And I said, that's exactly my goal. And so I said, I can't book this with you unless you do it this way. So he went back to the drawing board and booked every second. It was great after that. Now, do you book trips for kids or strictly adults?
I book kids for both.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I book trips for both. Yeah, kids are actually a harder trip to plan
Yeah, I
for.
thought so, yeah.
And they require more supervision.
Yeah.
However, it's so gratifying. Oh my gosh, I never thought this was, I can't believe I'm seeing this. And, their responses are much different, and they're totally authentic in what
Yeah.
they say.
And adults probably have more of a relaxed pace. They can go with the
Yes.
flow a little more. Like,
And they understand, naturally adults being older and having more wisdom and knowledge, well, you would hope, do have, they're very grateful for what they're seeing, and they're able to piece together things.
okay. Now, the trips you do for kids, are those through schools or just somebody would contact you?
I do them for homeschoolers.
Okay.
I do a lot of homeschool trips, and I also do trips for schools, and I usually contact the principals.
Oh, very good. Now, before we get into your upcoming trips, how do people get a hold of you if they want to book a
People
trip?
can go on my website at steponbustours.com. We recently updated it. And also they can call me at 248-619-6692. That's 248-619-6692. Or they could email me. Very easy. steponbustours@gmail.com.
That's very easy. So steponbustours@gmail.com or the website steponbustours.com.
That's correct.
All right, so what do you have coming up?
Well, what made me sing like a bird today was I landed a new customer on Friday, and it's the Motor City Eagles, and they said, please put together a trip for us. We want to go to Caesar's Windsor for Cinco de Mayo.
Okay.
Because Cinco de Mayo at Caesar's Windsor is a party. It's a hearty party. So that's what I'm planning for him, and there are many giveaways all across the board. Lots of money that they're giving away, and your dollar is stronger in Canada than it is here.
Okay. So that's coming up Cinco de Mayo, like on
Cinco
the 5th
de Mayo
of May?
is on May 5th. Yes,
Okay.
it's a Friday.
Well-
Please come, everyone. You'll have a blast. It's not just for the Motor City Eagles. We have pickups in Madison Heights, Livonia, and Novi.
Oh, wow, very good. Anything else coming up? Of course, the answer is yes, but
Of course,
What else
of
do you have?
course, Dr. Paul. We also have a casino trip going to Firekeepers on February 23rd.
that's
and
the one in Battle Creek?
That's
Or
one in
close to it?
Battle
Okay.
Creek, and you get it costs $25 and you get $30 back.
Wow,
Isn't that incredible?
that's the best deal.
But the most fun trip is what? Punchkis, polkas, and Polish.
Okay. When's that
And
coming up?
that's February 28th. and that's a blast. We, dai mi puji, dai mi piva, give me a kiss, give me a beer, and we start the day off having krushiki, which are angel wings, on the bus, and we go to bakeries and churches and stores, and we hear people talk about all kinds of things related to the Polish people in Michigan.
All right. Now, you don't take a trip every week, or do you?
I try to take a trip every week.
Wow,
I
very
can't
good.
do it in January because, a lot of people worry about the snow.
Sure.
Can't do it all day long in February, but I do have, 2 to 3 trips planned every February, and then in March we start the cycle.
Okay, and people don't need a group to
No.
call you. They can just, one person can
One
call you and
person.
say, hey, I want to.
Hey, I want to join you. Can I? Absolutely.
No membership fee, just
That's
show
right.
up and pay and you're on.
Yeah, pay first and then show up.
All right, what's the next gigantic trip you have? I know you went to China recently.
Dr. Paul.
Is South Africa coming?
Dr. Paul, let me tell you, it is South Africa, October 1 through 10.
Ooh, all right.
I've never had such a great time. I'll tell you more next week.
All right. Well, we want to hear about that for sure. All right. It's been Rose Sweet from Step On Bus Tours in Ferndale, Michigan. StepOnBusTours.com. Check it out today. And book your trip, because Rose does all the legwork for you. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, it is.
All right. Well, thank you, Rose.
Thank you, Dr. Paul.
See you again next time.
Okay.
All right.
Putting on the Ritz.